name is Karen Facey. I've written a book on patient involvement in HTA, and it's been a real pleasure to be here in the Czech Republic teaching patient group representatives about patient involvement in HTA and share some of the insights I've gained in this field through my involvement in Health Technology Assessment International, which seeks to promote and develop HTA. Health Technology Assessment, or HTA, is a multidisciplinary process that seeks to evaluate the medical, economic, social, and ethical issues related to using a new technology compared to the best current standard of care. The term health technology is broad and covers all forms of health interventions, such as medicines, diagnostics, medical devices, and other healthcare procedures. HTA, as we call it for short, has a strong scientific basis. Firstly, critically assessing international clinical trial evidence, then evaluating complex economic models that seek to demonstrate the value for money of the health technology in the local healthcare system. But HTA is not purely an academic exercise. It seeks to inform health policy decisions, such as whether a health system should invest in a new health technology, or would money be spent more wisely elsewhere? So it's used internationally and leads to decisions like whether to reimburse a new medicine or not. Although the best possible evidence is used in HTA, it often doesn't answer all the questions we have about the value of a health technology. It often doesn't tell us which patients will benefit most, what the pathway of care is in our health system, what outcomes patients would like to see improved, and how long treatment should be given. These are all aspects that experts can help us with, not just clinical experts, but patients too. We call patients experiential experts. Their experiences, preferences, and perspectives can help us fill the gaps in HTA evidence. They have unique knowledge that can add to what we have learned from clinical trials and economic modelling. Involving patients also seems appropriate from a democratic point of view, involving the individuals who will be affected by the health system decision about whether to reimburse a health technology. But it's not straightforward to involve patients in HTA. Some people are concerned that their scientific work will be compromised by anecdotal inputs, or that patients are biased due to their relationships with the pharmaceutical industry or representation of one particular disease area. So, in HTAI, we have developed ways that patient groups, patients, and their carers can be involved in HTA. We define patient involvement as having two important strands. One strand is robust qualitative and quantitative research about patients' experiences and preferences. We call this patient-based evidence. Patient-based evidence can be obtained by systematically searching for relevant published studies or by commissioning new studies in our own healthcare system. This research should be led by skilled researchers to create robust patient-based evidence that can feed into HTA like the other clinical and economic evidence. The other strand of patient involvement is patient participation in the process of an individual HTA. Our training workshop here has focused on this latter strand. I outlined that patients or patient groups can participate in many stages of an HTA process. A few of the key areas we discussed were scoping the HTA, patient group submissions, presentation to committees, communication of HTA results, and evaluation of patient involvement. And I'll describe a bit about each of these now. In terms of scoping HTA, patient groups can help identify what the current standard of care is and relevant outcomes to measure. In terms of patient group submissions, HTA has developed templates that can be adapted by any HTA organisation to support this form of input. The patient group submission template presents questions about living with the disease, experience with current therapies, and expectations of new therapies. Prompts are given to highlight the kind of information that HTA decision-making bodies are most likely to find helpful, recognizing that a balanced view from a patient group is likely to be more compelling than a loud plea that patients must have the new health technology. Facts about the biggest challenges of living with the disease, the symptoms or side effects of current treatments that limit normal living, and the difference a new treatment makes are more convincing. And HTA provides guidance on how patient groups might collect and report such information. Considering the next step in the HTA process, we discussed how a patient or patient group representative might present information to a decision-making committee. The need to be factual and precise is key, as well as being able to listen to what's being presented by others and identify if any important issues that affect patients have been missed. Patient groups are great at communication with their communities, and it would be wonderful if they could disseminate the information that comes from HTA and help develop patient-friendly summaries of complex HTA reports. Patient participation processes are complex. They involve two-way dialogue and require development of relationships and trust. They ideally evolve over time with feedback about what could be improved by all those involved, not just patients and patient groups, but also HTA staff and the HTA decision makers, as it's really important that patient input is honed to really impact decisions. In the workshop, we also talked about the decision-making committee and the role of citizens' representatives on that to ensure fairness for all people in the healthcare system, not just wise use of limited healthcare resources, but also ensuring that the patients affected had been given the opportunity to have their issues considered in a fair manner. We reflected on the barriers to patient involvement as well, and noted issues about technical demands, resources, and educational needs for all those involved. There are materials that can help with all of these issues, but we need to remember that patient involvement is a journey. It's an exciting one that can have real impact on the way healthcare decisions are made, but it doesn't happen overnight. It requires understanding from all parties about the interests and constraints that other parties have, co-development of processes that manage interests and optimize inputs to really have impact, and continuous review. When this is done, patient involvement in HTA can help decision makers understand the burden of an illness, clarify areas of unmet need, identify outcomes that really matter to patients, and help in interpretation of the added value of a new technology. This is a really exciting time for the Czech Republic as patient involvement is considered at the outset of a new process for HTA. I think this is the first time this has been done at such an early stage of HTA. And it's clearly taken a lot of commitment from all stakeholders, particularly the patient representatives who I've been training in this workshop. I look forward to seeing how patient involvement in HTA evolves in the Czech Republic and to getting some of the great patient representatives I've met today involved in international work to share their experiences. I wish you all the best on this important journey of patient involvement.